Hello everyone. Today we shall solve the 2020 Comprehension passage of the language paper. We shall read the following passage carefully and answer the questions that follow. Here we go. Attending classes inside a railway carriage seemed unusual enough, but the seating arrangements turned out to be unusual too. At Toto-chan's previous school, each pupil was assigned a specific desk, but here they could sit anywhere they liked at any time. The most unusual thing of all about the school, however, was the lessons themselves. Schools normally schedule one subject, for example, history, during the first period, when everyone in the class just did history, then say arithmetic in the second period, when you just did arithmetic. But here, it was quite different. At the beginning of the first period, the teacher made a list of all the problems and questions in the subjects to be studied that day. Then she would say, "Now start with any of these you like." So whether you started on history or arithmetic or something else didn't matter at all. Someone who liked composition might be writing something, while behind you, someone who liked chemistry might be boiling something in a flask over an alcohol burner. This method of teaching enabled the teachers to observe as the children progressed to higher grades what they were interested in, as well as their way of thinking and their character. It was an ideal way for teachers to really get to know their pupils. Let's turn over. As for the pupils, they loved being able to start with their favorite subject. The fact that they had all day to cope with the subjects they disliked meant they could usually manage them somehow. So study was mostly independent, with pupils free to go and consult the teacher whenever necessary. Then pupils would be given further exercises to work at alone. It was study in the truest sense of the word, and it meant that there were no pupils just sitting inattentively while the teacher talked and explained. The first grade pupils hadn't quite reached the stage of independent study, but even they were allowed to start with any subject they wanted. Some copied letters of the alphabet, some drew pictures, some read books, and some even did physical exercises. Just then, the boy sitting behind her got up and walked toward the blackboard with his notebook, apparently to consult the teacher. Toto-chan stopped looking around the room and fixed her eyes on his back as he walked. The boy dragged his leg and his whole body swayed from side to side. Toto-chan wondered at first if he was doing it on purpose, but she soon realized the boy couldn't help it. The boy said brightly, "My name's Yasuaki." "What's yours?" She was so glad to hear him speak that she replied loudly, "I'm Toto-chan." So now we have 3 questions here. You have to write the meaning of these 3 words. Remember, the correct answer has to be in the same tense, the same part of speech, and in correct spelling. So there are 3 words here. You can see assigned. Children, write down the meaning of assigned. Allotted. Given. Allocated. You can see all these 3 words that I just gave you are in past tense. So assigned, allotted, given, allocated. Done. The second question is ideal. So what's the meaning of ideal? Perfect. So write down perfect. The third one, independent. Free. The meaning of independent is free. Self-reliant. So you can write the simplest one. You can write down free. Let's turn over. Answer the following questions briefly in your own words. Now, the first question is, what was unusual about the seating arrangement? You can all write down. The children were allowed to sit anywhere they liked. So all of you write down. Please write the answers. The children were allowed to sit anywhere they liked. Underline to sit. That carries 1 mark. That's a keyword. Underline anywhere. That's the other keyword. Okay. So what was unusual about the seating arrangement? So the definite answer is the children were allowed to sit anywhere they liked. Done. Let's go to the second question. How did the method of teaching help the teacher? You can just note down. The method of teaching enabled the teacher to observe what they were interested in, their way of thinking, their character. I repeat, it enabled the teacher to observe. That's 1 point. Observe is a point. What they were interested in. Interested is a point. Their way of thinking. Thinking is a point, is a keyword. Their character. So you can just write down the points. Come to the third one. Why did the pupils enjoy their lessons at the school? So the answer would be, they loved starting with their favorite subject. So favorite subject is a point. They had all day to cope with what they didn't like or what they disliked. Or they could work independently. So you have to write why the students enjoyed their lessons at this school, which was so different from other schools. So 1 point, they could start with their favorite subject.